Where's the entrance music? I am so off today. It is not funny. Feeling. Well, we're going to ask that big question too. Because me and my main man over here, Mr. Latin Daddy himself, we're going to get down to the biggest question of all the world. Anyone ever bothered to have That's right. Because it's all y'all's fault. But that's not a my thing. We're about to have Wrestle today. See y'all in the Alrighty. It is live, it's in Technicolor, and I am done making people, I have had the most bamboozle of days I think I could ever have for the past few days. Quick note, I am recovering. I don't know if I pulled my back or something, but because you have the to-do list, and sometimes and you're like, well, where's this? Where's this? And it's placed somewhere you didn't know, you didn't expect. I had to go upstairs, grab the vacuum, and it's a heavy vacuum. I pulled that sucker, towed it down, and I started vacuuming because I was trying to be nice because we had the girls coming over, Ava and Judy, and I was like, all right, got the vacuum done, and I just didn't feel right, so I told the lady, I was like, I'm gonna sit down and just kind of take it easy. And the moment I did that, the next like hour or two, I couldn't barely breathe. So I have been really hurting for the past 3 days. Ladarius will vouch for me because it was hard for me to watch Raw, but we soldiered on. We made it happen, and I want to thank you, Ladarius, for keeping me to not losing my mind in pain, or to keep me laughing or keeping me from crying. But how you doing, big brother?
I'm doing great. Great to be back with you. Talking some wrestling.
Oh,
Got
yeah.
my field. Always keep shining shirt for Naomi. Always the message. Always keep shining. Even though it's a little moment, it's a little bleak and dark, but listen, always keep shining.
After what we heard, with the wrestling with John Cena, when I now hear heels go, "It's your fault," or "Are you people promo?" I always kind of like roll my eyes, but then I go, "You know what? It really is us." So, look, we got a lot to talk about. We got Raw, and by the way, congratulations to the Street Profits for winning the tag titles. What a match! I mean, and what a crowd! Brussels, um, or Barcelona, they were at. I wanted to make sure I said so because they were in Brussels Monday night.
Yeah.
I will say this: you guys do not understand the mind screwiness that we had. We're watching Raw, and we got done, and we're looking at each other, going, "Well, what are we going to do?" I had no idea. I'm trying to catch up on shows, but honestly, in my head, I went, "What are we going to do?" Because I did not know how to. I didn't know how to, use my time after Raw.
It
I
was
mean,
it was super weird. That's for sure.
Penta versus Kaiser was wash rag board. Dakota got squashed by Raw. All right, we will let you have that opinion, John. The best part of Raw was the crowd in Brussels. John, we're going to let you have that thing. I know Ladarius was not doing that at you. He was probably just screaming for the lifeblood of stuff. I'll wait till he comes back. Please come back, Ladarius. I am not doing this by myself. I am not in shape. You there, Ladarius? Uh-oh. Oh, well, hold on. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. So Ladarius is grabbing something. So no big deal. Give him a minute. So we got to watch Raw. We got SmackDown. NXT was a banger show like usual. Well, it was a good show. We got to hear from Stephanie Beckor, which was always great. But of course, the theme of this is always going to be the following. Not one of you asked me how I. We're going to go into that. Um, we're going to go into the John Cena promo more in depth. But I have to get something off my chest because so Friday night I enjoyed watching SmackDown. Enjoyed SmackDown, really did. And then Saturday we went into the next show, or it's just a normal day. And then Sunday we were getting ready for, or really it was like just Selection Sunday. But I was seeing a lot of stuff trending on Twitter, and the thing that started trending was JD from New York, and I'm going, or JD from New York, Hog Wrestling, so almost called her Sasha Banks, or Sasha Monet, but Mercedes Monet, and I went, okay. Now I usually don't want to comment because my rule of thumb is if I don't know anything about it and I don't hear from the actual principal people of it, it ain't my say so to say anything. But JD did say something. But the thing is, it was funny how everybody made this into something that it shouldn't. And boy, does it really look bad when the one wrestler that did this or says something, they're saying, I don't want you on commentary. Now, understand, we were not there. I was not sitting next to JD. I don't know what happened. I I knew there was a hog show. And I always look for an update because he does like do pictures, or he'll with the guys with him, not like the wrestlers. He actually is cool about that. But he's very respectful. He's when he's doing commentary, and I will say when you do commentary, you do have to take it to a level of professionalism. I have no problem with it. Hold on, let's see real quick. I like the promo with Stephanie and Jada. Yep, I'm with you. And then Ricochet called out JD, and JD fired back. Then he accused him of taking money from Hawk. We're going to talk about Ricochet because I'm about tired of Trevor. Because this man wants to play Mr. AEW, defender of AEW. Bro, you ain't even been there a whole year. Stop it. You are the problem with AEW. I mean, my God. And then we're going to talk about some comments Swerve made. And I'm going to tell you, after what everyone else did, Swerve, I hope you don't talk about WWE and AEW ever again. Because they just made you look. But yeah, we're going to go into it because, it was crazy. I've never seen so much drama. And the sad part was, the match was Mercedes Moné versus Indy Hartwell. It was a good match, but no one will even talk about the match because of what happened. So it got lost, and that was because, and I'll say it, Mercedes Moné. So we're gonna go into it. We're gonna talk about it because my thing is this: this got to stop. And what's up, April and Ron? Hope everything's going well with you guys. Much love to you all. So that's either Ron Thomas or April, but either way, we love them both. So, Ladarius, what's just your first initial thoughts? What did you think about all this craziness that has been dropped on us? That obviously we were not prepared
So you're talking about the situation with JD and
for. Well, the JD with Sasha Banks, and then we'll go into the other guys because I think that's one by itself that stands alone. And I mean, you could tell me too, but I think that one stands alone. But then also, what do you think? Because then you had whatever the hell they did. It's like, I call it piling on, call it whatever. Ricochet just sometimes needs to shut up, and it's just I figured I'll let you speak on it for a little bit,
well,
or as long as you like. My bad.
Yeah, well, I'll go through line by line. I'll talk about the whole Mercedes JD thing, and I'll talk about Ricochet, and my whole thing with, and we talked about this off camera.
Hmm.
You know, now I understand that there's beef in the streets between both. I understand it,
Yeah.
but here's the thing, and we talked about the concept of professionalism,
Hmm.
and penultimately, however Mercedes may feel about JD, and however JD may feel about Mercedes. The thing is, Mercedes is going to be is in the ring. You're not going to hear what JD's saying. No, you're not going to like, because from what I'm hearing is that, listen, and you told me yourself, like, he's toned down. Like
Hmm.
I think basically understand the difference between between when you have your platform and your show, you can say whatever the bleep you want to say. But
Exactly.
however, when you're in a promotion and you're working with other colleagues, you're working with other wrestlers and commentators and other, other personnel. Because there's a lot of people that make a wrestling show work. So you're working with a lot of people, more or less. And ultimately, 9 out of 10, you don't have to cross paths unless you absolutely have to. As long as JD does his job and calls the match, and calls it down the middle, I don't see the problem, and I understand Mercedes may feel the way that she feels. I'm not gonna, because one thing is, I'm not gonna tell you how you feel. How you react. Then I would have an opinion on that,
Hmm.
but I'm not gonna tell you how you feel because I'm not in your situation. Because we all wear different types of shoes, more or less, in the proverbial sense.
Exactly.
It's I don't know whether to say it's a bad look for Mercedes, because I really do like. I really do, and I know, so she's probably fallen out of favor with a lot of people since joining AEW, but I think that at some point reality will kick in. Because listen, I'm not going to hate. Because listen, as someone who's covered the women's division, as someone who's covered Sasha, Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, I know how great she is. I know, I'm not upset that maybe the number of championships may be a little out of hand, but but what's up, Craig, in the chat? Hey, oh yeah, Craig. Craig is like I said, Craig is the wise man. Always run things through him as well. Ah, when I come, but so I think, more or less, I just think that, it's just about being professional. I think it's the takeaway in that. Now with Ricochet and this swerve, here's the thing. Okay, but JD shouldn't be treasured when he loved her. Well,
I was gonna get on that. I was gonna get on that. Don't worry.
I'm sorry. So I'll save it then. I'll save my opinion for. I'll
Yeah.
save it. I'll let you go, and then I'll go after it. But listen, as far as the other stuff, look, all I'm gonna say is this. I think if we've learned anything about anything, is that when you're on the microphone, like how we're on the microphone now, our words resonate to the people listening in our chat. It's listening, those who are listening on YouTube, who are listening on Twitter or X. Our words matter. Words are important. As someone who writes sport, I can tell you that words are important. Now, the stuff with Ricochet and the stuff, listen, I understand what he's trying to do. Like, let's be clear. I understand the intentions. But but the overriding thing is this. People will come in with a pre-designed feeling about you anyway. And sometimes you don't help yourself. I'll put it that way. It's like this. No matter what people was like, listen, that Hulk Hogan guy, there's nothing good. There's nothing good. In my opinion, there's nothing good you can say about it. But just using that as an example, and for a lot of people with Ricochet, a lot of people have you like say, oh, he's doing better. A lot of people are saying, okay, well, he's doing worse, and people saying, well, he's doing right down the middle. Whatever your opinion of Ricochet is, all I say is this, or Swerve, because I really love Swerve too,
Hmm.
is understanding that I understand exactly what they're trying to do and what they're trying to say. But the problem is how it comes off to other people. And sometimes we don't realize how our words come off to people. And people may be thinking, oh well, words matter. So like I'm not gonna go and break down like every single word Ricochet said or what Swerve said. Other people have done that.
Mm-hmm.
All I'm saying is that I understand kind of what they were doing, and at somewhere along the way, people form their opinions. And listen, my opinion is this: I agree with some of it, but not all of it. Because here's the thing: you can love your job and love your company all you want to. I'm not going to knock you for that. But listen, like to me, it borderline reached Dax Harwood level, and that and the thing is that we mentioned Dax Harwood, we don't mention the wrestling. Look, he's a great wrestler, but we take them. I loved it. I'm like, here we go, and I'm like, he strap in for the next 10 minutes or TV time remaining, because you're gonna get something all the time. But going back to like Ricochet and going back to like specifically Swerve, it's like this. My and maybe I'm reading the room wrong, but I'm just gonna say it like this. I want people to understand wrestling, no matter the company. The problem is that listen, when AEW fans talk about WWE and WWE fans talk about AEW, I'm like, it's basically like math. That y'all just cancel each other out. Watch
Mm-hmm.
wrestling for what it is and form your opinion accordingly. You don't have to go on the microphone and defend your company because you're already in the company. And I understand you got to say like who rah stuff. I get it, but I'll be done in a minute, John. I apologize. I know I'm going on a little tangent, but it's like I am happy with how Mercedes being booked. No, I'm not going to sit back and be like, oh man, she isn't great. Mercedes made the wrong choice of going to the AEW pay her. Okay, there it is. Okay, but I'm not going to see the thing is I'm not trashing her. That's the thing. You heard me say high things about. Listen, sometimes it's no different with that NFL when your favorite player leaves your team for money. I'm not going to trash a player who's leaving out for more money
Yeah, we're not
because
trashing Grady Jarrett.
what's that? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
We're not trashing Grady Jarrett or Nate
Yeah,
Lamb. You know.
yeah. Listen, if you want to leave and make more money, listen. Hey, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to tell you, how to feel. But to put a button on all of this is this: I want people to understand. Whatever your opinions about wrestlers or a company or business, come from a place of neutrality, come from a place of openness, perspective. Oh, I'm talking about JD. Well, yeah, I know exactly what you were talking about. Oh no, okay. Well, I'll be quiet. I'll let
No,
that
because
that.
unfortunately, I've been
Well, no,
watching.
John. Well, John, I know you were talking about JD trashing Mercedes. I know that. That's why I said what I said. I was just saying. I was just reiterating what I said earlier. That, hey, I'm not going to trash her. I'm not saying that I didn't feel that you thought I was trashing her.
No,
I knew
look,
exactly
look,
what you said the minute. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
let's get this straight.
I'm on lunch.
JD has been on the last shows, and I'm talking ever since Mercedes has shown up. He has talked glowingly of her. What he does not like is the creative. He has beaten that up. Now, if you watch JD on Monday, he beats up Monday Night Raw. He beats up SmackDown. This man is an equal opportunist critic. And quite honestly, I have no problem with that. I actually like that because I then now go, he actually is watching the product and there's something's not right. Look, you want to be trash? Hold on, we'll talk about trash. Penelope Ford and Megan Bain, why the hell are they even pictured next to Tony Storm, who's the women's champion, but yet they're the ones that buried Thunder Rosa? That's crap. And I still say AEW set that up. And I will not back down from that. All right. And cool. All right. My thing is this. I have heard JD go on about Mercedes. And what he talks about is it's not working. Come up with something better, creative. It's not that hard. This man has come up with more solutions than critiques. So to me, he's kept it down the line. Let me talk about Swerve Strickland. He's tried to say that Cody Rhodes and CM Punk are bigger stars now because of what they did in AEW. Do you know that CM Punk was away from 10 years and people were chanting his name? Swerve, come on, don't be stupid. Because then Cody earned his rep, comes back, wrestles with a torn pec. People fell in love with that crap. Then he's in these matches. The story. That's how we are so invested with Cody, to the point that we told The Rock we didn't want him to face Roman. We wanted Cody. And that was an AEW star in your book. But here's the funny part. Your booker only booked him mid-card. Now, that's also done because Cody also made part of that too. But I also will throw that on Tony. What we're talking about is then you have Ricochet. It's like this. If it was Swerve, if it was Kenny Omega, if it was guys that were there since year one, you wouldn't get an argument from it. I would actually go, you know what? They're just defending the company. I get it. It's Ricochet. Bro, talk about sheltered. Let's bring it to the reality as we can. You're not even an offspring. You're just you're just a wannabe. And quite honestly, I gave you guys props because of a storyline that you two told, Swerve and Ricochet. And I was able to do that without letting my personal feelings. But when I'm listening to Ricochet go, oh, we've never lied to our audience. Bro. And then I hear Swerve talk about acting. He tried to compare WWE to a major motion picture, next to an A/B horror genre. But they do great acting, where you got the wires and the CGI, and I'm going, great acting, you said. So we're talking about the same great acting that was this past Saturday, where Ricochet was slapping Shibata and Shibata no-sold it. Are we still talking about the great acting that was Penelope Ford not being able to hit a chair shot? We talking about when Moxley gigged himself on TV? Oh, what about Daniels hitting himself on TV? Eh? That's acting. When I see AEW, and then let's talk about this past episode. For the most part, Revolution was a good show. And I know people don't want to hear that. But it was a good show. But what's the old saying? It's how you leave them. Well, guess what? This week, we're going to live it all again, because it's going to be Edge and Jon Moxley tonight in a street fight. Oh, yeah. I guess they need to bleed right before those NCAA tournament games. I mean, look. That is more concerning. That you literally crap the bed with the main event. When you had matches, me and Ladarius talked about how the women's match should have been the main event. Hell, if you wanted to put Will Ospreay match last, I wouldn't have done it. But I could see how someone could talk somebody into it. And Ricochet's the biggest joke ever. I like him better as Prince. Yeah. And what was the key about Prince Puma? He never talked. Boy, couldn't he use something like that today. But it's like, as soon as they go to AEW, they become Foghorn Leghorn. They got to speak their minds, and it's like, Lord help me. Hold on, let me see. Mercedes versus Billy for the TBS. Wait, doesn't have it. Exactly. Whoa. I don't even mind the match, because Billy Stark had a hell of a match with Athena. Problem, no one saw it because it was stuck on Ring of Honor. But the thing is, they've had a main event match together, so that tells you Billy Starks can go, or Saints, however way we want to call it, because we can't say Starks. I don't know. But does she have it? No, she doesn't have it. She doesn't, because there's no story. any match Mercedes is in, she's going to win. And as much as some people want to defend it, my thing is I'm not. I think it's crap, and that's just the way it is. Let's see. So yeah, and that's why it's like this. Last week, I wanted to see what kind of energy they had. They had no energy. You had Will Ospreay, everyone's favorite 5-star match guy. This man does not need a microphone. God bless him. I couldn't understand a word he said, except for he's going to win the Owen at that show, and luckily they had it where he could point because production wise, AEW sometimes don't have everything they need. Have someone holding it right here. I'm right here, Bill. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Bob. But hold on, let me do a flip off a cage to see it. What? So that was annoying. The Kenny Omega. So we're gonna do an international tournament for the take a shot at Kenny Omega, and now Kenny Omega is the final boss again. So let's see whose superstars should we feature in this. Petrosero and Orange Cassidy was your main event. Yeah. Paint drying is really fun. And then let me just go here. Evolve's a lot more entertaining. It really is. I mean, Javier Bernal had a one-on-one with Casafino, and all I got to say is, watching that, I was more riveted to that. It had more of a story than what I saw on AEW. And that's really sad. They could have had something. The MJF thing had a really good thing with MVP. I am intrigued by that. I don't have a problem with something happening there. So let's see. Oh yeah, Grandpa Dave Meltzer loves his 5 stars in his bank. Look, one thing you can count on in life is if there's a Will Ospreay match, there will be a 5-star match. The only way it doesn't happen if Will Ospreay is in WWE, because I don't think Dave will do it then. He can't break that habit. That might be the ultimate test of love. I can't do it, Will. Come on, bro. Do it for me, Dave. I love you. Not only that, they're telling me to do this thing. What is it? Sell. No! But yeah, I thought the MJF thing was pretty cool, but everything else just lacks energy. It lacks, looking forward to it. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought Tony Storm's promo was great, but when it was Megan Bayne, I just was like, it made me angry because I thought of you, Ladarius. Because what have we talked about? If the whole thing with Thunder Rosa, we'll know if it was a company thing or did they go into business for themselves. It's company. They screwed her over and they squashed her because they had a match and it just looked, And you know what? During this whole time, no one time said the following. Not one of you asked how I felt. John, I'm asking, how are you feeling? Do you feel him, sir? So yes, so that's our AEW report. And yeah, tonight they're going to be in Omaha, Nebraska, and they're going to have a title match. It's going to be Cope. It's going to be Moxley. It's going to be for the title. It's a street fight. I don't know what to expect. I don't really care because I don't see them taking the belt off. I just hope we don't have. My fear for Dynasty is you're going to have Mox, Cope, and Swerve in the main event. I don't think that's a good idea, but that's just me. What do you think, Ladarius, and the rundown I gave?
I don't know. You've been doing a job carrying the segment, and I don't know if I should pop in or not.
No. Was there anything that I missed, or is there anything that you
came
saw?
Out my dressing room. I'm like, oh, see, I'm doing great. I'll turn back around.
No. Please,
grab my Euro, go back to my dressing room.
Don't leave me alone. I told you I'm not feeling right. This has been a new week.
Now, I'm going to be optimistic.
All right, yeah.
I'll
Well,
be
yeah.
optimistic. Yeah, because here's the thing.
Show me the path.
Anybody who knows me, I'll just say this and pass it back to you.
Hmm.
I love women's wrestling.
Oh yeah.
I've stated on this show and other and on my own and on my own show how I feel about Tony Khan's booking of the women's division. And at the end of the day, it can be a hell of a lot better. Back to you.
Now that is positivity, folks. Let's talk about SmackDown. From Brazil, we don't have to go over all the matches, but we finally got, I think, some much needed attention to Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany not looking like this just beat up, broken down woman. Hold on. To be honest with you, see, I feel like we're all miss, hit and miss, and SmackDown is decent. Look, I think honestly, I thought Raw was okay. I thought the fans were. Look, it was about one thing, folks. It was about John Cena and that promo. So we're going to talk about it. Just give us some time. I promise. And look, John, you have a right to your opinion. You enjoyed NXT. You're looking at two guys that are not going to be mad at you for saying you enjoyed NXT, bro. We all enjoyed NXT. Quack quack. Okay, let's just call it what it is. I mean, we got to see the Juggernaut in her Patrick Star outfit, which, oh my God, those shoes, holy Jesus. I was afraid. I was just praying to God that no one made her turn an ankle. That thing was scary looking. Those shoes. I'm like, do you really need to grab the top drawer that bad when you buy those? Anyway, let's get to SmackDown. What did you think about basically? BFAB had a good match with Charlotte. Gimmick infringement. Charlotte should never do the Stephanie Backcourt spot. And if you need to ask, trust me, just watch and compare and you'll understand. No boot compared to boot. But besides that, what did you think of? If you want to comment on a match, you can. If you want to comment on beatdown, go.
Just trying to get my composure here. Here, listen. Yeah, let's maybe get some love to BFAB because BFAB's an example of how timing and opportunity because we gotta put it in this perspective. We didn't know what they were gonna do with her, because she was with the Street Profits. Now it seems like they're kind of on the parted, to a certain extent. And listen, BFAB is great. Just give BFAB an opportunity. And listen, listen, and this is why I say having that mid card belt is so important.
Yeah.
It's all about the chase. It's about the hunt. And now we can put her in that conversation. So, Selena Vega, Michin, for the women, for the United States title.
I'm sorry.
What
When
what
Selena
happened?
Vega does the bye, I'm just like, oh my
Yeah,
God. I mean, I'm
it's
already in love with that now.
and it's and to me, like I said, as far as the match goes, I'm fine with it. And I think that was the plan. That's what they had. But I have a feeling I'm going to hold on to my thought, not because I don't know what I'm just going to hold on to it because I have a theory, and because social media and other, I have a theory that I'll say when it comes because John said something and it triggered something in the brain, and I'll keep it there for another time. But listen, I've said some things about Charlotte Flair on this show and on other shows. But the thing is this: I needed something. I know the match at WrestleMania is going to be great, but I needed something to be like, okay, this is the build up. This is the road to WrestleMania. and we got that, in my opinion. What we, they must have been listening to the show, because one of my things is, hey, I need something to, I need something to be excited about. I'm excited for the match, but it always felt one sided. And now, seeing Charlotte do her, and seeing Tiffany, do her thing. Listen, we're not going to talk about the moonsault. Listen, it was a great move, but listen, Charlotte Flair and the Vacor thing, I'm not going to comment on it, because people are going to say, oh, you're a Charlotte Flair hater. Like, so I don't want people to say, oh, well, we know how, So I'll just say this.
No. Honestly, I will be the guy. I will stand on business. She should
All I'm
never
gonna,
do that. She has no
all I'm
booty.
going to say is this.
That outfit looked like it was going to fall off her.
And we didn't. And listen, in Europe, like, listen, I'm not gonna see. You see now, I'm taking the shovel away. I'm not gonna dig anything. Nope. Nice, nice try. And
the Shardbot is now downloading Windows 2.0 on their iDrive. Right,
you know what? You and John said, and then I hate to say it, but I was like, it reminds me of the Scarlet Day movie, Her. Like, that's that's the vibe.
Yes.
And I'm like, if they ever do like a sequel, like they couldn't get, Scarlet, she's too busy. Let's just say she's doing another Marvel movie, like, she's playing Black Widow. Timing, scheduling thing of the movie, like Charlotte Flair. I mean, hello, Richard. Like, yeah, oh, okay, all right. And Charlotte, yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm trying to help people's acting career. That's all I'm doing. I'm all about being progressive, but I enjoyed it. And like I said, as for BFAB, listen, the more on TV, the more on TV she is, the better. And I just love the fact. Listen, this women's division, it's coming together. And I say, there were conversations online about, I and I understood the frustration, but like I always say, you gotta let things cook. Like, if you want it right there, sure, go in the microwave, pop it in. But if you want something good, you want something, to taste and feel a little bit better, let it simmer. Let it put in a crock pot. Let it cook and let it simmer. And when it gets to temperature, it's gonna be great. So yeah, the match was enjoyable all in all, and I liked the little sequence that there with Tiffany Stratton as well.
Yeah, it was much needed. I think you couldn't. You had to do something. It was getting really hard to watch Charlotte going over so much. So you had to give Tiffany something. I think you need to give her, let her have, it's almost like this. Let her have the upper hand. She needs to, like, really show more of the babyface fire. I think the beat down or the come down and fight was amazing. It really was. I mean, that's what I wanted to see. And I want to see more. What's up, y'all, from A1 Sports forever. Forever. I just love saying that. It's just
What's up, Chris?
Okay. So look, there are rules in life that we all must abide by. Number one, you don't tug on Superman's cake. You don't spit in the wind. And you certainly do not interrupt The Miz, or you do not interrupt Cody Rhodes mid-woe. Because bad stuff will happen. That man just beat the holy bejesus out of Miz. And I had people mad about this. And I'm going, hold on. Uh-oh. C-Dub, I can't believe WWE stole my idea. I pitched on your show. There's no way they can come up with both ideas. Don't worry, we'll talk, because I know you're talking about Penta, but I don't think it's Penta. I think we'll talk more about, because, see, I think Raw is making you think more than SmackDown, where SmackDown is just kind of doing your show, but yet they're doing some good stuff there. We're gonna see. But look, Cody Rhodes beat up The Miz, and I saw people mad about this because they said, so I guess we're not getting Miz TV. I'm going, you wanted Miz TV? What is the matter with you? If you are upset because you didn't get Miz TV, I want you to understand something. You say it out loud. If it sounds stupid and people are laughing at you, you deserve the ridicule. Take it for what it is. Enjoy it. You were stupid. Wear the hat. That's all I ask. And don't operate heavy machinery near me. My God, when I heard people upset, I was like, did I just hear that right? So yeah, we got Cody places the belt and made it very clear he only wants to hear from one man. It's John Cena, Monday night. So there's no need for us to go into the promo. I just loved it. I loved how I just cracked up when I heard people going, I can't believe he did that. I'm going, you're mad about, let me get this straight again. You're mad that we got No Miz TV. I just need to know this so I know just how far away I need to be from it. Wait for this. Nobody, I mean, nobody cares. Thank you! Thank you! It's not like you weren't hurt no one's feelings. All right, let's see. Damian Priest went against Shinsuke. Drew McIntyre attacked him. How are we feeling about McIntyre, Drew, Damian being set up, kind of being set up for Mania? And I thought the vignette did a lot of good than what people think that it did. But what do you think, Darius?
You know, I was on the fence on it. I'm not gonna lie, but listen, the way it's been building, I'm on board because because when you look at on the surface, like, oh, Drew McIntyre versus Damian, but if when you pull back the curtain a bit, like despite how long his listen, they're both former world champions. They're both it's
Hey,
hey
Christy.
Christy, it is
You know
Wednesday.
what that means? Yep. You hanging out with us, and we appreciate you, Christy.
And listen, I'm on board. The build has been very good.
Yeah.
And a lot of people say, other people had opinions about, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but people had opinions about like AJ Styles versus like Logan Paul. Like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's like both. I think people have similar. The reason why I brought up that match is like people looking at it like it's one sided. Like, no, and listen, John's right, because here's the thing. I think people look at Damian Priest in the way that they didn't like his title run. They didn't like, but listen, it is for what it was. It wasn't terrible, but listen, I'm not gonna rank it like top 5 all the time.
Yeah.
But I think people understand. Listen, if you're giving me Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, the way that it's the type of match that needs a great build.
Mm-hmm.
To me, there's a couple of matches like listen, like I mentioned earlier, like Charlotte and Tiffany. You don't have to sell me on. You don't have to sell me on Cena and Rhodes. There's certain matches on this card where you do not have to sell me on. Where like if the build is decent, I'm in.
Yeah.
But when you look at it this way, this listen, you look at Drew versus Damian. This needs to be a great build for this to be a great match. Simply, and to me, I'm not saying I don't think it's going to be a great match, but given everything that how the card is shaping up, because people are already doubting it after, well, people kind of saw the writing on the wall after the Royal Rumble that this could potentially be a match, given what happened with however people want to talk about the elimination, all that jazz. Listen, like C-Dub, I'm on board with it, like because Drew gets it. Dame, like we tend to forget, like these two dudes competed for at WrestleManias.
Yeah.
Like I they fought at WrestleManias, and it's like it's gonna be fine. It's like the sky's not falling, even with AJ Styles and Logan Paul. I don't put the cart before the horse, but it's the similar feelings that listen, whether you like it or not, Logan Paul is getting everything that he's playing the role like Drew, just like Drew I love Drew McIntyre. That man can do no. There's a lot of guys that can't do no wrong. He's one of them, and he's got the perfect guy against Damian Priest, who you're making him out of the face. Like I said, the best thing that could have ever happened to him was leaving Raw and going to SmackDown. That was the best thing, because to me, it felt the longer he was on Raw, it would have just been this nonsensical feud with Judgment Day, and he was able to detach himself.
Yeah.
That was the fear I had with Rhea Ripley. I had a similar fear until they kind of transitioned out, and then kept Judgment Day involved because of Liv Morgan being the master. So that was my fear for both of them, but and both of them successful. But
Yeah.
specifically for Damian Priest, I'm excited for this match. I'm excited for this build. And listen, in the way the build is going, it's going great so far. So
I think the build, I think people didn't really think about it because they always looked at the main person Drew was looking at, never seeing the guy that benefited. And then basically that's what uh, Drew McIntyre actually pointed out. Who benefited the most from me being distracted? Who benefited the most? So personally, I love it, and honestly, it does, it could be a WrestleMania match. I don't, it's like this. I think we're doing such a disservice to Drew Mc, or people think it's a disservice to Drew McIntyre to fight Priest, when really it's not. Priest is working hard up the ranks. He's put his, get his way in there. Let them both do their thing. I think you'll get what you're hoping for. Just be patient. That's all I say. On that. Let's see what John says. I wish they would give Damien back the name Archer. You know, I actually don't feel bad about it. At first I was mad about it, but now it's like he's not had it so long. It's kind of like okay, and he's made himself his own. Now there are parts where he still does the bow and arrow, but that's just something he's always done. But I see what you're saying, John. And then, of course, I got to go here. I love this because my crazy self is still at work. Christy, you just in the same place when you say crazy ones because we still crazy. So we talking wrestling for Lord's sakes. So, all right, let's see. We got all right, Randy Orton versus the Viper. You know what? There ain't nothing better than the crowd singing Randy Orton's theme. And then Randy Orton tries to kill a man. But either way, there's nothing better than. But Randy Orton and Carmelo have a very good match. He gets aggravated or mad or whatever. And yep. Got some laughter out of that one. I was hoping I'd get something out of that. All right. And then he's about to kick. Um, because Randy's one of those. He's trying to, you could tell, he's that guy that wants to be nice, but he could mess you up if you just set him off. So of course Carmelo asks to see his manager. That will set him off. No, he slapped him in the face again, and Randy hits with an RKO. And by the way, Mello, your sell of the RKO is awesome, but man, your top of the head has to hurt. I mean, my God, I think you fell on top of your head a couple of times. I'm like, jeez, homeboy spiked himself for that one. Kevin Owens comes to be the hero that Mello didn't know he needed. But obviously, another way of teasing Randy Orton and KO. So, what did you think of the match and KO's involved?
look, I'll be brief because listen, you're doing great. You're saving. I won't take up too much time off the show. But look, anytime it's like if you needed further proof to see how great Randy Orton is or any superstar, if a crowd is literally singing your song, your music, you're a legend.
Yeah,
And it's not just international crowds; they do it here. That's how great Randy Orton has been for 2 decades.
yeah,
That's for over like that's how great he is. And he's the type of guy. Listen, he can go another 5 years. Health. Knock on wood.
hmm
I wouldn't mind it. He's over to the point where his music just speaks for itself. And a handful of guys only get to experience that where they're singing your theme song. And we just saw a guy on Raw who people were like all of a sudden they made this man feel like Judas all of a sudden on the and people used to sing his song too. but that doesn't take away from the greatness. He's still an all-time great, just like Randy Orton. I just wanted to put that out there. Now back to the rest. Listen, as for the match itself, look, like I said, Randy Orton can still go. And if we can get and listen, and for the record, we're mellow. I still will stand 10 toes down and say that guy is a future WrestleMania main event guy. Like, don't let how he's being booked in the eyes of others now. He's a WrestleMania main event guy. He gets it. And listen, and but listen, it just seems like those two put on. I think when they fought before, I'm like, it's a great match, and the chemistry they have is everything. And then John says Melo can go in the ring, and Randy Orton is great, but in his own right. But Melo needs to be going after United. He will. I think we.
Yeah.
I think if he's not involved in it now, but maybe post WrestleMania, I think a lot of stuff a lot of the people who we feel aren't involved in the title picture now, things will get cleared up post WrestleMania to me.
I think
and that happens. That happens every year. I feel.
Yeah,
There's like one or two people who gets, we feel gets. I'm sorry, I mean to cut you off. Who gets, who we feel gets left out. But
I mean, we still don't know what's going to happen with the U.S. title. So anything,
right? So for all we don't know who. I mean, we have ideas, but we don't know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it just seems like, listen, Randy and Miller have the chemistry when they fought one time before. Not surprised it was a great match. And listen, Randy, like I say, sky's the limit for Melo. Randy Orton, his road to WrestleMania, I feel is kind of clear. So, yeah, just overall great match.
Yeah, like I said, we're about to go into where I believe this match, the next match, and the main event was really good. I mean, they just took it to another level. But yeah, what do you think about Kevin Owens coming out and stop saving the day?
I loved it. And here's the thing.
It's perfect.
It's like if like I said, I think I spoke about this on the previous episode here. Mm-hmm. It's like this Kevin Owens we're getting now. It's low key. It's Kevin Steen under the guise of Kevin Owens.
Yeah,
it's Kevin Steen under the guise of Kevin Owens. And it's like here's the thing, when you let wrestlers, and I'll say I'll keep saying it, when you let wrestlers be themselves or have a say in how their character goes, you get stuff like Kevin Owens. And it's like a great TV show. A show, to me, the best part of the show, there's two parts. It's the plot and the cast. You have to be really great on one. You can get away with the average or above, but if you have both that are knocking it out of the park, this KO, what he did to Sami Zayn shouldn't be legal. What he did, but it was legal. It was unsanctioned, but so technically it was maybe illegal. But listen. So technically maybe it wasn't legal. So if we want to do the people's court legal stuff, blow off my, dust off my, CJ books, technically it wasn't legal. But this Kevin Owens, we're getting Kevin Owens and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Sign me up. It's going to be great. So I love it. John says, I like this heel KO that we're getting back from when he debuted against Cena and beat him. Yeah. It's like, listen, a callback is not terrible. A callback is not when you get this KO is the type of guy who, to me, one of my favorite things he did, and it's so nuanced, is when he came out, he was on an episode of SmackDown, and said, I apologize. And he only person he apologized to was like Kofi Kingston. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? You screwed over how many people? And that's the one. I'm like, cool. When you look back in retrospect, you're like, he didn't blame. It was like, you know what? All right, KO. Listen, like I said earlier in the show, I'm not gonna tell a man I'm not gonna tell anybody how they feel. I was like, okay, KO. I was like, that's the one guy you're sorry for. Okay.
You know what? Maybe he knew that Kofi didn't need to go heel, and with that whole mustache.
Yeah.
Bad. He's like, I caused that.
You're welcome. What?
Gunther comes out and hold on. Has anyone seen the Wyatts? Uh, I don't know what's up. I know Bo got hurt.
I have a theory.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna put on my detective hat. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut off your.
I'm gonna let you go on your theory because
Yeah,
I'm
go
just
ahead.
gonna say what I
Go ahead.
know. So I know that Bo was hurt, but I don't know how long and whatnot. So go with your theory because I don't really even know. I have no.
I have this thing in my head where we could potentially see Alexa. No, after Alexa Bliss, we haven't seen much of Alexa Bliss either.
Yeah. It's like here and there.
I'm thinking somehow she joins the Wyatt Six, and we get something potentially against. That's going to be the question mark because there's not many factions that can fit. Like when they broke up, with the Karrion Kross, and then when they let go of AOP, it kind of went like, and it's like, we already saw American Made. I think it may not necessarily be at WrestleMania, but I think if Bo is hurt, if he's hurt for I similarly, I don't know the timetable or better yet, when he, I don't know how long he's going to be out. But I have a feeling that maybe Alexa Bliss is involved, but back to you in the studio.
Yeah, I have no idea either. But let's talk about Gunther and Axiom. I did not know I wanted this match, but the man shows up and takes some jabs at Barcelona through the Madrid out there. Sports, the soccer, I guess. I'd be the bad guy. I'd be like, "Oh man, soccer must be really popular here." Boo! Like, what the hell I say? It's called soccer where I'm from. Hold on, soccer, SOC. No, that's not football. Football's a real man's sport, where you throw a flag if you touch somebody wrong. Oh Lord, but yeah. So at least, but yeah, Gunther, brought out Axiom, and my God, they had a hell of a match. And I'm like going, number one, I do not want people telling me Gunther cannot work. I really would hope you people stop. That was a great match with Axiom, and he will get something out of Jay.
Yeah.
I know Jay did not look good Monday Night Raw. We'll talk about it. We're not going to expose or hide behind that one. But that fantastic cross body shot that's supposed to have been a spear. I've never seen a spear executed that way. But anyway, but no, for real. What was your thoughts about this match?
I think that's what's been missing from Gunther is just seeing him in the ring, and he works. And here's the thing, Gunther can work with anybody. It just feels like if you think about the people he's faced, like case in point, Axiom. He's been in the ring with Sami Zayn. He's been in the ring with Chad Gable. He's definitely been in the ring with Jey. He's been in the ring with Jey Uso. It's like he could be. The size does not matter to Gunther. Gunther can put on, and I think you're the one that said he could fight a broom and make it a great match.
Yeah.
And then for Axiom, people tend to forget. Like, hey, he's tag team, he's part of Fraxium and all of that, but he can go in the ring. Listen, if you go look at his single stuff in NXT, like he can go, and for the fact that for him to go against the world champion like that in front of the international crowd has been fantastic. Like folks, don't sleep on the fact that Fraxium could call themselves up, and don't be surprised if we see a breakup there, and Axiom can go. Axiom can go on his own. The match itself was great, and I think that's what we needed. We've seen Jey Uso fight, but we never really see Gunther just remind people of how great he is, and we did against Axiom, and Axiom reminded people how great he is in the ring as a single star. So yeah.
Oh yeah,
Gunther can work a guy in the ring is great, but coming and putting Jay in the sleeper is blood. Oh boy.
But look, you're not wrong, John. I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna
yeah,
lie.
you're not wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, it is getting annoying. I mean, and I got it because it is. I g- First of all, I got to give Gunther credit. You know, he did wrestle. Like, I love the match with Otis, and then a couple of weeks later, he wrestles. You know, Axiom. Look, Gunther is really good. I hope we see him versus Jimmy actually. But my point is this: when I think about all the stuff that's out there, Gunther is that good. Yeah, he can be the guy that can work a broomstick. You know, he can work an invisible man. I beg God not to, but you know, if he had. But I just got to say, man, just you got to give these guys some trust and just let them tell the story in the ring. But we are going to call it out because, like I said, after Monday Night Raw, I was like, God help me. But anyway, the Profits versus DIY. Um, damn great match. Damn great match. Perfect finish. Everything. What was your thoughts on the tag title match?
Listen,
New champs too.
excellent match.
Yeah.
There's no, I don't know how. Listen, there's not many words need to be said about how great this match was, but let me tell you something. The tag team division, it feels like on SmackDown.
Hmm.
Look, it's hard to find a flaw. It really is, and to me, they made the right call because I think giving the belts to the Street Profits, you could do something. Not saying you couldn't do anything with DIY, but to see them win the tag titles, it was great. And like I say, the tag division is going fantastic. And especially, just seeing Montez Ford. Like I love Angelo Dawkins, but anytime we're blessed to see Montez Ford, who has all the potential in the world to be a single star, maybe not now, but hopefully, like I said, they had one opportunity, it kind of went away. But if the opportunity presents itself again, I hope they kind of take to take the hint to kind of, like I said, I felt like they missed an opportunity after Elimination Chamber a couple of years ago to kind of
Oh yeah. They did.
make him a singles guy. But love watching him, like four dudes who just know how to work and get it done. Fantastic match. Congrats to the Street Profits.
Great match. That was their best match, and I actually will say I was more blown away by Dawkins than I was Ford, and that's nothing against Ford. Ford always brings it to these kind of matches. Dawkins really brought it to a level that I was very impressed with. I really enjoyed it. So I thought, as a whole, SmackDown was fun. It was awesome. We had Tessitore. Look, we're going to Italy, folks, with Tessitore. Get ready. Yeah, we're gonna have a whole lot of this and a whole lot of talk. Yes, the Tessitore. Um, also, Jade had an interview. Liv kind of interrupted. Now, here's the thing. People were saying Jade's hard to get behind. I understand. I don't think the whole story has been told yet. But now I will be the guy that's going to say the following: whose foot do I need to put? Who? Here's my foot. Where do I need to put it to get get it in gear? Because we got Jade, we got the pieces. What do we need to do to get it going? I want to see SmackDown. I want to see this match between her and Liv. I want to see where it goes. Either Naomi has to get some payback, or something has to happen. Let's see. We got a no John here. Profits are gonna have a championship run for WWE. They have them lose them. You know what? No, actually, think about it. You had the Guns lose them, DIY lose them. This is WrestleMania time. Everything's going crazy apparently. I'm actually wondering, are we going to actually see them lose it to Pretty Deadly? So I hear you, John, but don't be surprised. But go ahead, Ladarius. looked like he had something to say on that too.
Oh, no. I was just gonna say, listen, if the Triple H model says that if they lose it at WrestleMania to Pretty Deadly, then that's what's going to happen. And listen, I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Like I get, like, if you look at these championship reigns, respectfully, they for Triple H, it's different. I don't think we're going to see a run for a while like Roman Reigns. That's probably the longest title run we're going to probably see, unless it's like substantial. And like the biggest run now, I think, is Tiffany Stratton, and that's haven't even reached, even close to a year or close to a couple, 6. So if the championship runs have meaning, that's how long that they're going to be champion. That's the way I'm taking it. The championships need to have meaning, and the runs need to have meaning in telling a story. That's what makes Cena versus Rose very interesting, because you're telling multiple stories here. It's like, do you take, like, because listen, Cena hasn't won a match in how long? In terms of a singles match?
Question: does that
Yes.
now? Okay, yeah, singles match. Because I was about to say he did win that chamber match, so that has to mean something. So,
Exactly. So,
yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay.
in terms of winning a single, like a singles
Yeah, yeah,
one on one match. Yeah.
yeah.
Like, winning the, see, listen, I don't want seeing the people to be mad. If you want to count it, you can count it. This is why I don't say much on the show, because this is what happens. Like, and that should count. I'm like, you know what, folks? You want it to
Bro,
count?
bro. After the promo, I don't think anyone wants to say they are a Cena fan or not after what he roasted.
I'll say it. I'll say it. Listen,
Did you
you out
see
here,
that kid? Did you see that kid? He looked like he was about to cry.
hey, listen, hey, kid, listen, kid. The first thing I say is that, listen, hey, kid, dreams are made to be broken. Like, listen, just like, hey, just like food's made to be eaten, dreams are made to be broken. So listen, yeah. Oh man, how you just listen? Sucks to be that kid. That's all I gotta say. Sucks to be that kid.
Damn.
It's like, listen, you listen. We all have heroes. There were people who were Hulk Hogan fans, and oh boy, that's all I'm gonna say. Oh, you disappointed us, Hulk. He disappointed you 20 years ago. You just didn't know it. You just didn't know.
You ain't lying.
So it's like, y'all just listen. Some people like, oh, I've been Hogan fan. He disappointed you 20 years ago, because if everyone's saying the same thing about the guy now, that's not good. It's not good. If I'll put it this way, if the one wrestler you hate says something negative about Hulk Hogan, that lets you know, like, there's credibility.
Scott Steiner saying stuff about
Scott Steiner saying, like, Scott Steiner, listen. I'm just saying to that kid, hey, dreams are meant to be broken. Hey, you'll be okay. Listen, you were wearing, listen, here's the thing. No. You know what, kid? You should have known he went heel because you were wearing the man's gear. So you know what, kid? Maybe the kid's the real heel in all of this.
You know what? Cena's right. He never asked him how he was feeling.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're wearing his stuff and you're going to be disgusted? Like, no. Because kid, you knew. Kid, we all saw Elimination Chamber, kid. I'm sure you did it in your John Cena PJs, saw what your hero did. And yet you took it in, you embraced it, and you still, mommy, daddy, I want to wear John Cena gear. And went to the store, or went on WWE Shop Deutschland or whatever, Brussels, went to Brussels, whatever.
Here we go. I knew that was coming up.
You know what, John?
Like to dip out at the meet and greets during the beer meet and greets.
Yeah, except when the beer hits you, then
cry.
Yeah.
Who's taking their kid to a beer meet and greet?
Right. It's like, hey, parenting. Listen, just like if you're the kid, if you're the parent that bought John Cena gear, you might be knowing what that John Cena did. You're probably the same parent. Hey, Hulk Hogan's having a beer meet and greet, not just like a meet and greet, a beer meet and greet. Oh, let me take my kid. What is wrong with you? Listen, I don't have children, so I'm not gonna sit here and questioning parenting. But listen, My wife would have me in an anaconda vice if I took my kid to a Hulk Hogan beer meet and greet. I'm sleeping on the couch if I pull that stunt. Listen, it was. Maybe I should have showed up and listen. And you see how much this man is charging for just me.
Oh yes, yes, and he left early. But well, look, it's not about him. All right, we got to say this, folks. It's not about Hogan. Hogan left people stranded at his beer meet and greet. That is a word going around.
Listen,
It's really
y'all.
not going
Listen,
around. It's actually legit. He did.
y'all. Listen, y'all dropping 6 large to go see Hulk Hogan. You deserve to lose your money. I'm
Yeah,
done.
yeah. All
Hey,
right,
you know what?
folks.
It's called put it in a bank. Put it in a bank. Do something proper. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, we look. Normally, I like to go with the flow, but after the emotion, the anger, I think John Cena would be angry with me if I did not bring this up. Why the hell did no one ever ask how he felt? Because I'll tell you, I cried. I was like, hey, I would. I didn't have your contact information. You never called me back. So, but look, this was very traumatic for this C Nation dog. Okay, I felt like he put me down, and I looked at him and go ahead, take me down, bro. I got it. I'm going to heaven. It's good. And then he whispered in my ear, "You're going to hell." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that too." And then Rhea saved me. But anyway, yeah, John Cena broke up with us, man. John, I don't know how to feel about this. I still think it's more like it's maybe more him than me, but you know, I'm gonna see other wrestlers and see where it goes. So this shit was so awesome. This crowd, look, I told y'all, relax. He wasn't gonna be on for a while. John Cena then shows up in um, Brussels, and my God, the fans singing John Cena sucks, John Cena sucks. They're singing it. He comes down, and you almost are wondering he's not going to walk away, is he? Because you're already going. He's wearing the same merch. He's got the music. Nothing new. What's going on? And he proceeds to just drop the biggest "you people" promo ever, when he calls us sons of bitches and saying, "You've never asked how I feel." And I went, "Oh my God, I always wondered how he felt through this." And here we go. John Cena, I know people said that this promo wasn't good or was too long. John, Cena's promo was good, just went too long over. It was good that the Brussels crowd was. So remember, John, you just said the crowd played a big role in this, which you needed. He's breaking up with the fans. I think this was great. The way everything was positioned, he was the first person to come out. Cody comes out. Ladarius, just say, what did you think of this promo, and how are you feeling about now that this is the main event? This is the direction we're going.
Listen, I understand why John Cena broke up with us. Listen, it's not the first time my heart's been broken. And that listen, it probably won't be the last. So listen,
I'm just glad he didn't ghost me.
it's like I would like dinner. I mean, not but I'm not gonna get in it. You know, a nice steak dinner would have softened the blow. But the thing is this, I absolutely loved it because see, here's the thing, John Cena. I don't feel it's hyperbole or I'm saying something, that's a hot take when I say this. John Cena is one of the best wrestlers on the mic that we've seen in the last 25 years.
Amen.
I'd argue I'd put him on Mount Rushmore. And what we saw was a guy, his very first heel promo. It was exactly a blueprint. It's like he was going to leave. He was doing. Oh, is he leaving? Oh, stayed in. and just called us all SOBs, kids present. And then the camera work of zooming in on the kid and zooming on that grown ass man wearing the scene when he's there. I'm like,
boy, did he feel like 5 inches small. It's like,
man, he felt like Fievel that like Fievel goes west. He wish he would have went west. He felt like Fievel the mouse. Like, listen, he felt so small. And I'm like, he checked every box. And whether it went too long, see, my whole thing is this: when you put Raw on Netflix, I don't know how you define how long. Like, if this was network and you had like a set time, yeah. But I understand what John is saying. Like, but nonetheless, maybe it went a teeny bit over. But nonetheless, John Cena just proved how great he was on the mic, and how simply put, look, that he had to break up with us to be the John Cena he wants to be. And then when Cody comes out, and with the legal, have to do the fireworks and all that, but contractually obligated fireworks.
I want to rip you apart. Hold on. Whoa!
and then
I
he
want to beat your ass. Hold on, 1 second.
What?
Whoa!
And then having Cody come out and saying, "I don't want to face this." You see, look at this scene of the beat. Like to me, John, I was sold after seeing this promo, but when Cody came out, I'm like, I was just oversold, which is not terrible. It's like
no.
it's like this, and folks, we still have a time to go, and it's like this. Like I tell people this, you're gonna wish. Like people say, you may not like for those who don't like the promo, this is probably the best promo you'll get from John Cena.
Oh yeah.
This is, and not saying he's gonna put on terrible promo stuff, before the match. I'm telling you, this promo is a major promo. The first heel promo from this man in 25 years. This is like basically you working in the company at your job for 25 years, and they give you the boot, and then you go on social media or you go, let me tell you what I think about this company. Like, let me tell you what I think about the people who so-called supported me. That's the equivalent. It's like, it's never, like, once that person gets it out their system, it's never going to happen again. Just like John Cena got out everything he wanted in that promo. And then when Cody came out and did what he did and called him a whiny a little bit, well, you know what he said. I don't want to say, but you know what he said. It's like, okay, this is night, whether it's night 1 or 2, this feels like night 2 situation, because you depending on how you feel, like this is the main event match. I don't care how you shape it. To your point, like John Cena broke up with us. Listen, wanted a dinner. I'll repeat that again, but his promo was a necessary evil to get what his character even that much more over. He made it clear. He told you. People thought, oh, he's gonna change his stuff. The only thing John Cena changed was the color of his gear. That's it. And really, that was already pre-designated to happen anyway. So
you get nothing.
So he pulled an evil Willy. Like, listen, people understand Willy Wonka was a low-key heel. Like I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Like some people go, oh, he did the flip at the beginning of the movie, and he's the good guy. Now what? Go run it back and say what he told to Charlie at this man's desk. You get
he tells him you do nothing. You get nothing. And I'm going, and then he goes, Charlie, you were expecting Cena to go, fans? Nah. Cena looking at you going, screw you. F them
exactly.
kids.
Yeah. You want the music's gonna change. I said, you get nothing. People, he's gonna come out in like different color gear. Same music. I'm like, and then like John says, Cody stole a CM Punk line when CM Punk told Triple H, "I don't want to fight you. I don't want to fight this. You suck. I want to fight this Regal assassin." Yeah, listen. Nothing wrong taking a page out of the playbook.
And not just that, but Cody, who's a good promo too, is looking at it going, "This is the guy."
Yeah. And you know what? That pissed Cena off even more. So, folks, enjoy this Cena heel run. Enjoy it.
Oh,
Enjoy it. Embrace it. And listen, hey, to kids out there who got disappointed, hey, like I said, life is full of disappointment. This is just your first experience with it. Get used to it now. It'll hurt less throughout the years.
look,
So,
life is full of disappointments. Just look at your dad. There you go. Enough said. I didn't say their moms because that would be really bad. That would be wrong. But yeah, my favorite part was the you get nothing. That's my voice. This is my words. These are my and I'm like, this man is doing it his way and he's being the heel of heels. And I'm going, he's been waiting for this for a long time. And this is honestly, I truly feel if he would have turned heel a few years ago, this would have been I don't think he would have changed anything because he understands the game. He understands I have to just piss them off to no end. I can't wait. I can't wait. You know we're going to see more. So that's why I'm like, relax. We got a few more dates. Let's enjoy it. 4 o'clock start time next Monday. This Friday, we already know we have to watch it at 8, but they'll be early, so you know how that goes. Penta defeated Ludwig. Thought the match was good, but honestly, the promo had me very not concerned, but more of where are we going? Because they interview Penta. Penta says the Intercontinental title. And I'm going, damn. Now, I'm not mad at it. I like the idea because it's Penta for the championship. But are we ready for Penta and Braun at WrestleMania? I mean, I am, but what do you think? You can be honest, it's all good. You know,
no. I'm just, maybe run it back to me. Maybe my mind will change. Run it back to me. Run the question back. Maybe my mind will change.
yeah, because I'm kind of like you. It's like there's so much that can be done, and then you hear Penta versus Braun, and you're going, well, is it? I don't think. Look. Dom said Penta to join Judgment. I don't think it's gonna be Penta joining. John was messaging me, losing his mind because he was like, "Guys, it's happening." John
This is
thought he willed this to existence. To quote Rocky, "This world ain't as sunshines and rainbows. It's very mean, nasty."
but see that Rocky, the world beat Rocky at that point of his career. Rocky,
Hold on,
I
that's not Black Adam Rock. The Judgment Day will.
for the record, I didn't say it. The guy in the other circle said it. So
Penta will win the end. Look, John. If Penta takes over Judgment Day, I will say you were right, okay? But I'm not gonna believe that. I think we're looking at Karrion Kross and Dominic taking it over. That's my opinion. Because I see more Karrion Kross been talking to Dom. I mean, he talks to Ludwig Kaiser. So we all know that ain't happening. I can't see Ludwig going, "Here's the Judgment Day." It just doesn't roll off the tongue. Hey, Carrie. Hope we're having a great show. We are having a great show. We always appreciate you.
hey, Gary.
Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile. This match didn't last long. What did you think of this match?
I didn't answer the other question about the
Yeah,
Intercontinental.
What did you think of the other two matches? I'm sorry.
Well, no. I'll talk about the Dakota because you covered that great.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about the Dakota.
Well, and you can still tell me your thoughts on Penta versus
Oh,
Braun.
no.
No,
No.
because we had the main event where we had the face off. So there we go.
I did the face thing in the hands. And well, first of all, hi Carrie. Thank you for doing. Okay, John. We'll be right back. My whole thing on Penta is this. If you tell me Penta versus Braun at WrestleMania, I mean, to me, listen, folks, you can make this a triple threat. You can make it a four. You can, because I'm telling you right now, you're gonna see at least one triple threat or fatal four way at WrestleMania. You're
Mm,
gonna see it, and if this happens to be the match, because listen, you can make a case for Penta versus Braun versus Kaiser versus Sheamus. You can make a case because all you can make a case. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but you can make a case that as a fatal four way for that IC title.
mhm.
And but what I absolutely love is like, listen, Karrion Cross. Listen, I said on Twitter, Karrion Cross is out here playing chess. Everyone's out here playing checkers. All right. So and like his hair matches the person he talks to all the time. That's how much dedication to the craft that he has. The long hair, when he's talking to Dom or AJ Styles, his hair is always long. And if he and he I forgot when his hair was in a bun. I forgot who had their hair in a bun at the time. And he had put it in a bun.
Xavier. Xavier did.
Yes. He talked to Damien hair is in a bun, just like that. So listen, shout out to to Karrion Cross. Keep up the masterful work. Because that to me, if you're telling me that guy infiltrates and takes over Judgment Day, I wouldn't be mad. Because here's the thing: he lost a faction when AOP and Paul Ellering got released, and you're telling me he's going to walk in because listen, I think Finn Balor, the, what happened to Finn Balor is the same thing that happened to Edge. They're going to push you out whether you want to get out or not. So, Jesus, John, Dakota Squash. But here's the thing: they built. Well, no, that's a great question, John.
No, that is a very good question, actually.
And I'll answer it like this, and I'll turn it back over.
The Mullet Brothers. I'm done.
Jesus. Good night, everybody. Um, no, the
Yeah.
best way to the best way to answer your question is a part of me feels that I think the goal is to have them as I think to have the Creed Brothers tag champions because you look at the tag division there, it's not that deep, respectfully compared to SmackDown. You can make a case for that, but it's the thing with Ivy Nile that gets me in perplexing because it's like she can put on great matches, but that match, listen, wasn't her best. Doesn't mean she's terrible, but like I always say this, given more time, I just need to know what they're gonna do with Ivy Nile directionally, because you could easily put her in the IC title picture. Because if we don't get, listen, you could do a depending on Lyra, Raquel, and all of that. You could do something like you could do Ivy, and because we have an idea of who's competing for the women's for the Intercontinental Championship. Because listen, if Becky Lynch shows up, listen, and listen, Lyra retains. Like anything after that, and you're playing with house money. It could be Dakota. You could go Ivy. You could go. I'd argue. Listen, if you want to really make a difference and make a change, for the love of God, give Shayna Baszler a singles belt.
Yeah.
Like so. I mean, how about doing Ivy now versus Roxanne once?
I don't
You
know.
see,
Because
my only issue is that they're both heels,
yeah.
and I like what John's head's at. I really do. Now, if you want to low key probably pair up Ivy Nile and Roxanne as a tag team, I would not be upset because like we've seen heel versus heel face, but I feel like that particular feud, who would you make go like or at least make a tweener? Because listen, because the crowd they're built as heels, but I like the idea, and I think Roxanne's next feud could potentially, and we'll throw it back, it could be against Lyra. If should
Oh
Lyra
yeah.
retain at WrestleMania, I think post WrestleMania, I think a Roxanne versus Lyra feud is intriguing to me. Given their history at NXT, you bring it because listen, you got to build. Listen, Roxanne Perez is built as the protege, and having have a singles title would add a lot more credibility. And I trust, like I said, I trust the direction Hunter's going. So we'll see how that fares out.
Yep. Um. when it comes to the Intercontinental title picture for the women, they can keep it open. And here's the thing: it was an exclusive online where Bailey was, that Lyra talked to Bailey about, she it still eats at her that she lost against Bailey, and she would love to have a title shot after she takes care of Raquel. So I'm intrigued by that because I'm kind of go. Here's my thing: if we don't have Becky, I would love to see Bailey, Roxanne versus Lyra. I brought that up once. I'll bring it up again. I think that would help Lyra. And I'm going to go here. Lyra can't really step it up. Then you have two women that can take it off if needed. Personally, I would take it off and give it to Roxanne. I think Roxanne could elevate that belt. But that's my thought on that. Let's talk about it. First time in history that a contract signing went through what most people thought perfectly. EO and the fans were loving EO. Fans were not very nice to Bianca. There were some boos. Now, somebody may have fallen in love with Bianca with the glasses, but I'm not saying anybody in particular. I'm just noticing. It even said here in the report that I'm reading. But yeah. But the moment that, because the fans did boo Bianca, and I heard someone say, "Why are they booing Bianca?" I'm going, "Wait a minute, they booed?" So I had to watch it again, and I heard it. So I was like, "Oh wow, I really didn't pay attention. I was just thinking, hey, they're all cool." Um, oh look at this, John's trying to name him the Dangerous Bad. I kind of like that name actually. What was it? But Rhea shows up and wrecks the party. Uh, Bianca's pie faces EO again. Look, y'all need to stop disrespecting little EO. She is not someone you just pie mush. You don't pie mush EO. I mean, my God. But anyway, uh, Rhea headbutts her. Rhea power bombs EO, and the table didn't break. I'm actually happy it didn't because it made it even better when Adam Pearce is just looking at two women on a table. It made it comical for me, because Rhea gets the contract signed and he's just losing his mind. And the whole time I'm going, you could have gotten the contract and said, no, you can't have it, and run away from her. So, and then of course now everyone online saying, wait a minute, all we had to do is just sign the contract and we get in the match. I love that idea, but look, there is no way you are not gonna have Rhea Ripley in this match. You got to. And I liked it because 20 years ago they did this with WrestleMania 20. Shawn Michaels came in, super kicked Benoit, signed his name on the contract. John Cena's done it, not at WrestleMania, but I think it was SummerSlam, if I'm not mistaken. But there's been some cases, and I'm going, I like when stuff like this happens. And what I liked about it, it was the first time I think the women's did this. These three women, if you don't have something compelling for CM Punk, Roman, and Rollins that connects, man, give Bianca, EO, and Rhea the main event spot for night one. Just do it. Yeah, we talked about it with what was it, Tony Storm, Ladarius, but I still feel the same way. Those three deserve the main event spot. Oh yeah, the contract temperature. Yeah, Rhea signs the contract, and the rest of the night, and it never talked about again. WWE didn't even play up to them. Exactly, and it was kind of weird. But then I loved it that she told Adam Pearce, "Make it official. My name's on it," and I'm going. She just used your own logic. Ha! She listened. But anyway, go ahead, Ladarius. What do you have to say about this?
No, first of all, you're doing great. Listen, I just show up and clock in and be like, where do I sit? Where do I stand? And I'm like, oh, it's a sitting thing. Okay, cool.
We always sit. Don't need
listen,
I would be
here's
worn out by then.
the my thing is this. To your point, you gotta have Rhea Ripley in it because listen, as great as Io versus Bianca is, and we've seen them two go. Because if you remember, I think they went at I believe it was SummerSlam. I believe
Hmm.
the 2 year. I believe it was Io versus Bianca, and Bianca got cashed in on.
Yeah, it was SummerSlam. You're right. It was. Um,
So, and
Io
but then you
cashed in on Bianca actually because it. Oh God, I'm trying to remember the match.
I remember the match. To me, I lose. To me, I got hazy about who cashed in. That's where I get hazy at because I'm trying to. Oh boy, it's gonna haunt me for a while. I should know because it was recent. I remember like Bianca wins because like she had got hurt and she was grabbing like her whatever her ankle or leg or something, and then the music came on. I'm like, oh, I forgot. If I knew who, oh man, who cashed in? That's gonna haunt. But anyway, while CW was doing the research on that,
Yeah, I got to now because you just
yeah,
did.
because like I say, I that's the only part of the match I do, and that is the most important part. But listen, as far as this match goes, having Io versus Rhea versus Bianca, it makes sense and it works because you can make a very strong case. I don't think you'll get much pushback. These are the top, like you have a lot. Like there's 4 or 5 top women, and you have 3 of them in this match, and outside of Liv Morgan. And but I gotta believe Liv Morgan, they'll be there defending part of the women's tag team titles, potentially maybe against Lash and Jakar. That's putting the cart before the horse. But as far as this goes, it's like I don't see the uproar because in a way I'm glad they didn't bring it up after that because to me it was self-implied that to me Rhea was already going to be in this match.
Okay, I got it for you. I had to pull it up. So it was Asuka, the women's champ, Charlotte, the android, and Bianca wrestling that in 2021.
Okay.
2020, give me a minute, 2023, I believe.
22 or 20,
It was 23,
23. Okay.
and Io ran down and cashed in.
Okay, so I had it. Okay,
That's why she was milking the leg.
see now I knew Io and Bianca were involved. I forgot Io won Money in the Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she
She
cashed in
won
on.
it that year. Yeah, okay. Cause I said I knew she fought, and I knew Bianca got like she was playing on the injury she had. Because I think like it was either Charlotte or Oscar did something post match, and then whatever, and then Io. Okay, thank you. Because I had
Stop.
all the
Like
pieces
I need
there.
this now.
Yeah, I had all the pieces there except that Io was the one cashing in. Okay, I knew something. Anyway, but like to finish up the point, I'd like to have 3 of your top superstars on Raw. Listen, outside of Liv Morgan, like you have your top 4 female superstars on the roster right now as we're speaking, and it makes sense to have the triple threat. Now, whoever wins it, listen, I'm not paid enough to figure that out, but
Yeah.
I still believe that that storyline with Jade that stuff is not over. Like, don't let because, like I say, I have a feeling it's either going to get revealed either before or sometime after WrestleMania. Because listen, because the question we still don't know who's sent in the tape,
Yeah.
and you saw the way that Jade was reacting to Liv, like when they were doing when Kathy Kelly was doing the interview, and I'm like, this is leading me to believe that there's something between them two. Nothing like heelish, but it's like deep down, Liv knows what happened, and there's tape of it. So somebody had to send in the tape to Nick Aldis
Yeah.
because Nick Aldis said he just got it was anonymous. It didn't have like a name on it, it came like an envelope or whatever. Because I have a hard time theorizing as much as like Naomi's being a heel. How was she able to push Jade Cargill down to that level?
I
That's the
love
question.
how. Yeah. No one answers that yet.
Because and I'm not am I I'm not saying Naomi's finisher could have did it because it could have did it,
Yeah,
but
that kind of booty hit you in the face and go, wow! Yeah.
right. So, but I feel that a part of me
That was
feels
a
that
real view.
the rear, and ironically enough, the rear. Never mind. Never mind. I'm not going down the trap. Nope. Not today. Not today, Satan.
They say,
Um, but a part of me still feels that will somehow tie into the match to a certain extent. Maybe not be the focal point, but it will tie into the match to a certain extent.
let's talk. Look, I'm with you. I can't.
The skin.
I am with you about what you're saying, but let's talk
Uh,
about this. Because, see, we have Charlotte and Tiffany kind of, Money in the Bank, and they're having their little thing. This is just a theory. What if Bianca just hit Jade with the KOD? Look, John, we're saying the same thing, actually. We think Bianca's more behind the scenes, and they're just playing off. We will see. I think, it just takes time to make these things work. And, if anything, if it's done right, they're going to make Jade look like a freaking monster.
yeah.
But Jade's got to kind of give us that too. So it can't, it's. I understand frustrations. Let's just put it that way. Let's talk about frustration. Jey Uso was not feeling in his right mind. He kicked some ass, and he was in a mood to fight. And I've seen these matches, and they're always awesome. They, you're like, all right, cool. We're gonna just, and so he's in the match with Austin Theory, and I see a cross body, and I'm doing something. I look up, 1, 2, 3. I'm like, what the hell happened? And then I see the most weirdest botch I've seen since AJ Francis, or Top Dollar, or Flop Dollar, or whatever you want to call him. But I mean, he ain't really anything special. Sorry, but you're not. Uh, I mean, at least he didn't look as that bad. I'll give Jay that. And then Gunther, dude, tell me you like the sleeper hold without telling me you like the sleeper hold. All right, and then I'm like, okay, they're getting into it, they're fighting, and all it took to stop the fight was Jay to take off the belt. I almost felt like I was watching a comedy and I was going to see someone take off the utility belt off Batman, and Batman goes, "Oh, I'm screwed. I don't know what to do now. Can I get my belt back?" That's basically what it looked like. I hate to do this. The Royal Rumble winners, Charlotte, Jay. Man, I think Charlotte's not connected the most. But look, Gunther said 10 weeks of hell, and all we've gotten is just weeks of sleepers. I need Gunther to live up to it a little bit more. And I kind of just need both matches because, look, I get it. They're not going to be WrestleMania main events. They don't have to. But these matches are going to be moments that people are going to talk about. Make sure you just put some damn gasoline on this thing. What
Yeah.
do you think, Ben? I mean, go ahead.
I thought he fought Austin Theory. Well, he did. Did he fight Grayson?
I guess he's talking about because he was beating up on Waller also.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah, and then
okay.
they challenged Jay and a partner of his
Oh,
choosing.
oh man, I know who I want that partner to be, and
I
I
know.
don't want.
Yeah,
I swear to
that
God.
would be
Listen,
awesome.
Hunter, Aloysius, H.
Look,
You know what to do.
just all you have to do is you don't even need to fly him. Just say his name.
Yeah. Listen, just.
Say his name.
Oh, I didn't even say. But you thought. Ah, I knew the layer.
Look,
So you
call
think.
Sean.
So
Call
you
Sean.
think. You think his name. You want to say.
Bring out
No.
like Otis and Kazawa, but they actually are just a decoy, and then the real star, and that place would blow up. I mean, I'm just saying.
It could happen, folks. But
Yeah.
listen, as far as the whole thing with Jay, oh Jesus, he's doing it. As far as the Jay versus Theory, and then Waller getting involved, and then whatever that was with Gunther, all of that in the package. Look, like if you blinked, you missed the match. If you blinked, if you stepped out the room for even 30 seconds, you missed the match. Because by the time you're going, whether to the kitchen, using the bathroom, whatever you were doing, you missed the match.
Yeah.
But you saw everything else after that. You saw Waller doing whatever that was, and then you see Gunther doing whatever that was. It's like, look, if you're going, listen, I'm not going to tell people how to react or what to do, but like, oh, I'm gonna put him in a sleeper hold. I'm like, you could just sling him. I'm like, okay, all right, all right.
It's not even that, but it's the spooning sleeper hold.
Yeah, it's like that looks
Why do you
uncomfortable.
want to keep laying down with him?
Look, if that's what he feels best for business, that's what's best for business. So listen.
What
So
kind of shit?
let's be super duper clear on that.
Yeah. We're not disparaging anybody. We're just saying.
Listen, listen, if that's what he wants to do, let that man
No,
do what he want to do. So,
we're not trying to
um,
diddy anybody.
listen, is it uncomfortable? Oh, absolutely, it's uncomfortable for everybody involved.
Yeah.
But hey, it's entertainment. It's overseas. It's a European thing. It could be a European thing. So listen.
Yeah.
So that's all we're going to say. That's our show, folks. We'll see you next week or no, on Wrestle Tape. No.
I guess you don't want to talk about Seth Rollins now. All right. Because Seth comes out. Basically, if you don't know, this. So people are excited about John Cena being out Monday night. Well, this Friday, we're going to get the equivalent, which is Roman Reigns. And he's going to speak. Well, CM Punk is going to be there too. So that made the ever so mild mannered Seth Rollins. By the way, love the look. By the way, green, black, like the whole color scheme and the suit. Look, sometimes he dresses like another man. Then there's sometimes he hits that GQ point. But but what do you think about your boy Seth? Speaking his thoughts.
Listen, I listen. First of all, listen, Seth, you're my guy. Listen, Seth Rollins, Grand Slam champion, fashion icon. But as far as listen, I loved it. And this is the thing. If we have come looking like a banker, hey, said I can take a loan because I need some money. Oh my god.
I mean, look, if your banker looks like Seth, that's a pretty good banker.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing pretty good for yourself. I'm like, hey,
You had
Seth.
a
Look,
lawyer like Crucifino.
yeah, listen. If he's some guy wearing a tank top and a hoodie, he might, hey, put a couple of bucks here and a couple of bucks there. What the hell does that mean? Yeah, a couple of bucks here. You go to Seth, you go to Luke, to Christopino, your money's doing good. It's doing great. The dividends are out of this world. You know, I'm not saying you could take a cruise, but I mean a Caribbean cruise could be in your future. And then you can also invest in, yeah. And it said John said, CW, did you see my comment about Gunther? I guess he put up a comment about Gunther.
Was it the
With
comment about the 7 weeks of sleeping or the sleeper hold or
Yeah, I think that was is that the one, John? That might be the.
went through quite a bit. So I couldn't find them all.
Like I said, I don't know if that's the one or not. But
Sleeper blood, but the sleeper isn't hell. I agree. That 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 is how I feel. When a heel says, "I'm going to make your life hell for whatever amount of weeks," then you need to do that. Like I was actually hopeful, and I'm sorry. I mean, I don't, but at SmackDown when he was talking to Jimmy, I was waiting for him to attack Jimmy, and I'm like, right there, if you would have attacked Jimmy, that would have been a shot to Jay, even making him more angry about everything. you know, now you don't beat him up so bad you make him miss WrestleMania, but I'm just saying, you just, so, or you do a match with him and make it where Jimmy is telling Jay, look, I can't beat him. You can, though. You've been in that ring with, Oos, this is your time, not mine. And, it'd be something like that. That would be really good stuff. But I'm just saying, when you say 7 weeks of hell, or how many weeks we have left, man, take ownership of it because that's what fans want. Um, and I guarantee you, if they do it right, you would have a lot of fans actually being invested in this feud. I'm sorry, or so far most of the weeks with sleepers, you gotta stop. Stop being the Diddy, and Seth. Let Seth be Seth, and he's not a banker, but he knows the guy. Um, but he will be on SmackDown. I'm looking forward to SmackDown with those three. Monday Night Raw. Before we go into the main event, we get Punk will be there, Cena and Cody will be there. Um, and they have Raquel versus Valkyria, Ira. I hope they do the match well. I'm looking forward to it. Let's talk about the main event. What was your thoughts on the main event with Finn Balor and Braun Breaker? And then, of course, the end where we had Penta. Now, earlier, real quick, I'll remind you. So, Dom wanted to invite Penta in the group. Finn loses his mind, no members, all that. Yeah, we get it. John is busting confetti everywhere, thinking he's the one that wrote the story. But I'm pretty confident Penta will not be that leader. But let's talk about this match. What did you think about this match? And of course,
Listen, it was a good match. Here's the thing: this match made me feel conflicted because I like Finn, and listen, and Braun is Braun, but here's the thing: we gotta start having a conversation about Finn Balor and outside of in terms of winning singles matches, because look, what are we doing with Finn? And listen, and I understand you can't book everybody to be champion, and I understand that,
yeah.
But I don't know what you're doing with Finn. And if because a part of me feels that if you're going to the route that that Dom takes over Judgment Day, carry what are you going to do with Finn? Just to me at this point, let Finn break away from the Judgment Day because I just don't see. It's similar to my thoughts about when Damian Priest left. I don't need to see a. I don't see the benefit. I don't see the benefit, and on top of that, he was listen. As far as them coming to help out, listen, they're terrible. Listen, this is a sign that you need to set this up in a way similar to how you got rid of Edge, who founded the Judgment Day. Yeah, and folks, you can cope with that. That's your last AD. That's your last AEW reference. We did it earlier. We did it. We lit up the show with AEW, and we're going to just leave it at that. So, any more AEW content? If you're here, you can leave. You can head out. But we'll be right back. I won't be, but somebody else will. Like John said, listen, because he's not doing him any favors. Yeah, because see, it's the same feeling I had that I said about with Damian Priest. The minute Damian Priest left and switched brands and went to SmackDown, now we're talking. This guy's facing Drew McIntyre. He's being built differently to be his own person. And Finn Balor has been trapped under the guise of being with the Judgment Day, and the only people who benefited out of it is, if you want to be honest, is Dominic Mysterio. That's the only guy who's benefited out of all of this. Because he's the constant. He's the constant guy in Judgment Day. It hasn't benefited Finn Balor. So I just need to know what they're going to do. Kick him out the group. beat the bejesus out of him to kick him out of the group. Do whatever you have to do because it was a great match, and it sucks that as much as I wanted to see Finn as champion, it was never going to happen. Never. I did so great match, but I just need to know what the game plan is, and what are you going to do with Finn Balor. So those are my thoughts. Folks, have fun watching.
CM Punk, tell me when I'm telling lies. Let me first say this: the match itself, I thought was a very good match. You
Yeah,
having Balor to wrestle Braun Breaker, good match. It really was. I am very look. The ending was interesting. That's how I'm gonna say it. I was not a fan of it, but Penta coming out is cool. First of all, let's give some respect to Penta. Came in, he's won matches, he's made an impact, he has gotten over. All right, you can say what you want about his taunt, whatever, but now people are saying it with him. People are seeing him. They're comfortable with him. This is great. If this is me though, I am putting Finn Balor and Dominic involved in this. I am making that a priority. Why? You need a heel. You need someone to kind of counter or to guide this show. Penta can be wild, and so can Braun. And there's nothing against anybody. You're just saying, hey, get a good hand in this. And Dominic, and I'm going to tell you, I actually am tempted to say put the belt on Dominic. I actually am. I actually feel like that would be awesome. And then, Finn having pinned Finn, on Monday night, he's all mad. And there you do. You do your Judgment Day thing. JD's there, and he helps take out Finn. I'm just saying, you could do anything you want. And here's the thing. You said it really helped Priest to get away from Judgment Day. I think it would have done a lot if Finn Balor would have got away from Judgment Day. But he's there. This is what's happening. So I'm not so mad. I'm just saying, for the Intercontinental title, where normally I get people wanting one-on-one matches, I would not be. I still would not look past doing a multi-man match. And it's nothing against Penta and Braun. Just don't think those two need to do a match at WrestleMania for an Intercontinental title, because then I'm asking who do we cheer for? And it sometimes is that simple. You put Finn Balor, you put Dom. People are not gonna. They're gonna boo them because Dom's gonna get boos. Finn doing his thing, and it will just the moment of either Braun winning, and I still love the idea of Sheamus somehow entering into this. So I hope WWE doesn't go into the thought of we don't need or we need to do it one-on-one. Let's just keep it that way. No need to do that. Go forward and do what you need to. It's like Dom said, he did talk to Penta, and he's here. What do you have to do to have Penta go heel? Go back to the no. Look, they are not. I don't see them going to take Penta as a heel. Here's why: the sales, and not just that, he's over. It's not like he's having a trouble getting the fans to love him. He's got the fans now. He's got a different country cheering him on. So I'm not trying to make this easy, but I and not with that, if Bray Phoenix comes in, you want to keep them kind of both faces, and then when they meet in the middle, they can be a tag team. And trust me, when it's time, the Lucha Brothers are going to make money. I don't care what anyone says. That will make money. I'm trying to think. I mean, they'll make more money than Sin Cara did back in the day. And trust me, people were into him. But then he, kind of like Harley Cameron, she gets in the ring. That's when it ends. So it's really bad when you had to have another luchador be the next Sin Cara. It's like, Hunico, get over here. Let me see. NXT. What about NXT did you love this week? that's what how we're gonna frame it because there's a lot of stuff, and I know I got a few things I like. What did you like, Ladarius, about NXT?
Well, I love the direction. Listen, Stephanie Backcourt. I love Jada Parker. You're seeing Jordan Grace. I like the listen. I like the way the women's division. I like the way it's being booked. I even like Karen Pejman versus JC Jane.
Oh,
Like
good.
I love those matches. Of course, seeing Ricky Saints. We would in his first singles match, and even the main event. What I loved about the main event was Javon Evans being an X factor.
Mm-hmm.
And do not be shocked if that NXT title match becomes Oba versus Trick versus Javon. Now, I'm not saying Javon's going to win it. All I'm saying is that look at how that ended, and nobody listened to Javon. Like
Mm-hmm.
Javon was trying to come in and always was trying to be the guy, and then Trick did what he did, and then Javon hit his move on Oba, and Oba sold it like nobody's business, and I loved it
Oh,
because when you hit that move on the champ, it hits different. Like not saying it would have hit different if he did it to Trick, but the fact he did what he did to Oba made it amazing. And then that melee at the end. Listen, NXT is just the NXT brand is like I said, a lot of logs in the fire. And at the end of the day, like how Rock said, put over. Like here's the thing, I like that too, John, because even Jada put over Stephanie. Jordan came out and put over Stephanie, about winning, two titles, becoming a two, becoming winning, having two titles. It's like when you listen to these promos, like especially from the females, it's like they're supporting each other, but the way Jada looked was like, well, she said she was 10 toes down, looking into the face of Stephanie McCourt. I'm like, yeah, that's a future champion right there. I'm not saying it happens next week, but circle Jada Parker. If listen, if you do the like that, if you're doing futures bet, she's a future women's NXT champion. Period. And that division, you could argue, hey, Sol Ruka put on a great match versus Chelsea Green. That's what I love. These mid card belts, they travel everywhere. They go to all they go to NXT too. They go to the main brand, and then they go to NXT, giving other these all these other opportunities. So listen, NXT was overall it was very enjoyable. And listen, just like people on the road to WrestleMania, they're on the road to stand and deliver. So curious to see how the road continues on next week, and you see Stephanie Vaquer, two matches in one night. So
we're in it. Look, Jada Jada Parker's amazing. I'm not even gonna act like I don't care about that. She looks amazing. I love the beginning. Stephanie bringing up she had many places she could have went, and she chose NXT. I love that. We know. I mean, she said it on interviews. It's not like it's rippling news and stuff or breaking news. But she look, she is she is a breath of fresh. She is the most natural luchador I have ever seen for a
mhm.
woman wrestler. It is just effortless with her. Um, she's amazing. I love the whole promo between her and I like that Jordan came in with the Patrick Starfish look. Um, and then let's see, we got I'm over at yeah, John. It's funny. I believe Ladarius felt the same way in that point too.
No comment. No comment.
Chelsea and her cabinet are fantastic. I want more matches with that cabinet. Alba Fire literally pat down people. We need more of. It was freaking hilarious. Um, I enjoyed. They were talking about. Oh, yeah, Booker talked about Potent. Of course, the promo we had that. But the good thing here. not talking about Tank and Hank. I just won't. The 6-man tag match, because of coordination. They did a beatdown. The 4 guys, I guess they're now called the Darkness, but my God, these guys and this finisher. Look, guys, I appreciate a team finisher. But when 2 of y'all throw another grown ass man to 2 other guys, I just pray the other guy doesn't go, hey, when are we supposed to, oh, want to leave? Want to get away? You're on mute, but hold on.
Oh no, I was just talking to myself. I would just say it to myself. You mother. One spot. How do you? We rehearsed this 4 hours ago. What the? Oh, I showed up late.
Sweaty.
Oh, well, did something change? I showed up a half an hour later after the meeting. You.
I had nachos.
What?
Ricky Starks goes against Rich Holland. I thought that match was good. Look, Ricky is a star. It was good to see Ricky get his first win. Of course, the great promo at the end because, apparently someone didn't know he could measure up. Well, don't worry, Ricky can measure up. I love that line. Of course, that's Braun Breaker's woman. But anyway, we won't go.
Oh no, John.
Uh-oh.
Chelsea is TV channel changing worthy. Every time Chelsea's on TV,
No,
you could
don't
all
say that about our president, Chelsea.
listen.
No,
The fine people of
awesome.
people of Canada would disagree with that statement.
Yep.
Hey, it's one of us, eh? Hey, she's a U.S. champion, eh? Hey, she's our president, eh? Yeah.
Man, Rick Williams versus Eddie, or the person that was known as we recanted wrestling. How about that? We're not even going to give him a name. So Trick whoops his butt, wins the match. You're right. So this group shows up. I think the best part is what you told me to watch out for. Isn't just Javon Evans trying to warn everyone and him get pushed around like Io did. And then they're all fighting. And all the guys that were going to come out and create chaos just did the following. Hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Let's go. And they were still like losing their minds going, this crew has caused a bunch of chaos. I'm going, well, not really. They just, to be fair, actually Trick caused all of it. So, I mean, look, I love NXT and they are doing a very good job with the future. I can't wait to see them move on. But right now, as they are doing great work with the wrestling, man, keep it going. That's what I would say. John, you're on timeout duty because you can't just say that against Chelsea, man. That's all right, Ladarius. Let's get out the shout outs and telling the people where they can find us. So we'll start with you, brother.
Shout out to the chat. We got John and we had Carrie jump in. We had Craig jump in here. So I think those are the 3. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to those and April, aka Ron or both.
Yep.
You can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at Ladarius_Brown. There's _Brown on Instagram. Writer editor for Beyond Women's Sports. I won't do a show on Friday because there'll be games going on. But I'll have a couple of. I'm looking to put a couple of previews of some of the women's. A couple of games that I like in the first round for the women's bracket. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout. March Madness here. Hope you guys got your brackets in time. And with the exception of C Double, but shout out to you guys, all of those who are listening and watching. It's much appreciated. Y'all be blessed, and just thank you for taking time out of your evening to join us to talk wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, we told you once it got to this point, it was going to go fast and furious. So we're really enjoying it. So CW28 to find us. Now tomorrow we'll do a show. We're gonna kind of combine football talk and a little bit of NCAA. I think we can actually pull off a little bit. Uh, where where a lot of us will look at the bracket in front of us and be like, okay, I'm gonna pick, and we'll just probably do random picks like that, so that as our to see who we think our final fours. Because look, I'm not gonna say, hey, I know everything. No, I don't. The new faction, and it's gonna be called Dark State. Okay, hey, that's fine with me. I like them actually. They have a good look. It took me a little bit to get kind of see them and kind of hear them, and it was good to hear them. That's what really got me over. Because if you sound like, sorry, Dijek, but you saw sound like that, I just was like, oh yeah, this ain't gonna go well. Slapjack? No, no, we're not doing that, guys. Don't do that. But yeah, now watch next week. Dip Drod, and Driller. So let's see, what was I talking? We'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about the new Quarterback 2 series and not mascots. Man, I kind of wish it was the mascots. I think I would have gotten more out of that than I would have the quarterbacks. But we'll talk about that, especially with a familiar face on it. So we'll definitely have some fun there. I'm going with Georgia in the final. Oh, okay, that's a bold claim there, Cotton. We'll talk about it. I think it'll be fun to watch out and see, you know, maybe traditions and things we like. We'll have some fact or fiction with Ladarius over here. He's the man that comes up with them. And what's great is I don't have to say anything. I just say, hey, you come up with how many as you want. Well, let's go. So it's great. So it's his segment. So with that said, yeah, follow us, like and subscribe, and enjoy wrestling. If you like AEW, good for you. Enjoy it. No issues there. But look, when people are criticizing it, sometimes you just need to listen and don't get so hurt because we're talking about your favorite wrestler. Just listen to what we're saying. Maybe we're not talking about your wrestlers. We're talking more about, man, I need a story. Get me involved. I championed the Ricochet Swerve Strickland match. And I did that because, of all things, it got me invested because I was watching them fight over a road. And it wasn't stupid. I actually thought it was good because they brought up what the meaning was and they brought up how important it was. That's what I like. So give us something. Give us something to get hooked in. But enjoy wrestling. And, for me, for Ladarius, I pray I'm going to be in a better shape in the week and also tomorrow. And we'll have some fun there, as special and only people watching AEW are the only. Yes, John, but also TK likes to post everything on Twitter, so it's kind of hard for us to ignore it. So, yeah. I wonder if they've ever realized that they're kind of hurting their viewership by doing that. Like, why am I going to watch it if I could just watch it on Twitter? Do 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 do. All right, folks. For me and Ladarius, we want to thank you so much. Check us out, CW28, Ladarius_Brown. Hey, that's the way it's been. That's the way it's going to be. We out. Adios.